Like, oh my God, Becky. Okay, look. So, as you can see, I'm a little mixed breed, okay? That's nothing really to be proud of. And a lot of things make sense as to why I react or why certain things work and don't work, genetically speaking and like physically speaking. And let's just try to do this as quickly as possible, okay? And I felt the need to do a video face to face, okay? So, today, for example, I went and I got a bunch of like cleaning supplies or whatever. And one of the people working there has an interest in me. However, he's like, "Oh, well, you haven't called me." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not ignoring you. I just, needed to pay my phone bill and stuff." See, we're in a system that it's all monetized, so it's insulting because a lot of the products and stuff can be made by you and I. And let me also say, as a woman, no, I'm not against working. However, there are things that women should not really be doing, so to speak, unless we have specific tools that are going to make us more efficient, since we don't have the same strength that men do, and that's just fact. Okay, yes, by working out and our, ability to tolerate pain, allows us to be delusional and do things of which we are not supposed to really be doing. Okay, not bare physically without any tools or any support. Okay, now due to this monetized system and due to this irrational mindset of many, far too many, I'm seen and I'm put on a pedestal of which, first of all, I did not put myself on that pedestal. I don't even see myself that way. Yes, I am attractive. Yes, I am beautiful and deserving of many great things. However, I'm not stupid, and I don't enjoy having to pretend that I'm stupid for people to get to get do or not to get but to do what they ought to do. So this man, he works whatever, and I went there to go get my stuff so I could clean, whatever. And it's essential to me that at least I have control over how tidy and organized my environment is. So therefore, when cleaning products and stuff is monetized, everything is monetized. Even the water is monetized, and that's insulting to my intelligence. Being that if I know that I'm capable of making something or doing something, and perhaps let's say that I don't have the support or the tools necessary, yes, I'm going to do it. However, it's a struggle because as a woman, I don't care how you feel this and what you think. The truth of the matter is that men are stronger than women. Okay, and this system is ran by males. Okay, now on top of that, when I'm at the store and I'm being asked, why didn't you call me? And when am I going to be able to see you? And when am I going to be able to come over? What? Okay, that's irritating to me because, first of all, you males know very well that you're out of pocket, okay? And then having to play dumb or not having to, but lowering myself and my dignity, not even dignity, because I want to cuss you out. However, I'm in a public environment, See, you guys are very clever with how you do things and how you say things to us. Okay, I should not be looked at as some object, first of all, which is basically across the board. Women have been subjected to be objects, and we have also been disrespectful to ourselves by allowing ourselves to be that. However, See, the blame shift game or the gaslighting is that, oh, well, because we're aware of these rules, okay, and we're aware of this code. Sometimes, occasionally, or some more or less, whichever on the spectrum, but for certain, we do know, us females, us girls and women, whichever stage, we do know that certain things that we do, or how we react, or how we behave, how we dress, how we speak, how we look, blah 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 blah, are physical appearances and characteristics and stuff like that, like, and all that will be able to determine or be able to accomplish achieving whatever we set out to do, which is insulting also, being that men are not here to exploit women. They're not here to exploit children. They're not here to exploit themselves. They're not here to exploit other males, exploit other boys, exploit animals, exploit plants, exploit the whole across the board. Men, males, women, females, children, boys and girls exploit like none other in such a disgusting and corrupted manner and method. Okay, so I'm not at all saying that things must be strictly morally correct, because quite frankly, evidently, obviously, the system that we live in obviously doesn't uphold those same standards. However, they do say things and they do broadcast things and advertise things as if they do, which they do not, hence the Bible. Okay? So, no, I should not be fetishized. And I find it sickening and repulsive how us little mixed breeds, I mean, it doesn't matter which stage you're at. There are plenty of unattractive mixed breeds. There's going to be people who say that I'm unattractive, and honestly, I don't care. Good for you. That's your opinion. However, I don't need to hear your opinion. And the fact that you think that you need to tell me is stupid, okay? But there are unattractive mixed of us, okay? Mixed ethnicities. And yes, I can definitely confirm that my sperm donor, because I refuse to call him a father when he was no such thing. He was not a absentee father. He was simply very submissive, okay? And by submissive, I mean he went along with the abuse. And by the abuse, I mean that right along with him, as well as my siblings, as well as his so-called wife, who is Caucasian, okay? And however, she, based off my observation and my experience, is that she wanted to be a so-called black woman, because she would get like her hair braided in cornrows. She would talk. She would do different characters, or try to not even try. She would reenact, or her version of what a Hispanic woman sounds like. She would reenact and portray herself to be this way, that way, or black, or ghetto, or whatever stereotype. She would portray. She would get all them characters. Hence, where I picked up on a lot of that stuff, and she's a sadist. So going through that, and the sperm donor knowing, because we had sat down, me and the sperm donor sat down with CPS, because my teacher from either first or second grade had called CPS, and like I had bruises all up and down my back and my ass and my legs and whatever. And I don't know how old you are in first or second grade. I'm going to assume anywhere between 7 to 9, 7, 8 or 9. Okay, so I went through that for damn near 10 years, and being abused every day. So when people say you're insane and you're crazy, they may be correct in the sense that, yeah, when you mix your genetics with savage, then you're going to have, your offspring are going to have some corruption within them because look at my hair, like, like it's like different textures and stuff. Like, look at me, okay? You see this physical body here? There was a break, okay? You've got two different species, okay? Or not two, not two, but many different species mixed together. So when you do that, hence why, I still eat meat, but not heavily. Hence why I'm, out of tune, so to speak. In tune, but out of tune. Always feeling quite strange because my genetics are conflicting. So, yeah, it is like inner demons. Yeah, it is. You could say that, but I don't see it that way. I don't see it as demons. I see it more as just my inner children, okay? So, with that being said, today, oh, when are you going to be able to come over? And when are you? I said, you know what? My environment isn't even where I want it to be. So, until then, and that's not a lie, and that may be never. As long as this system is upheld and people play in the games that they play, and then, this is a melanated man, yes? So for him to play the game that they play, or the other day, talk about, I know that he's married. He doesn't even remember that he told me he's married. This is a different guy. No, and not that it's any of y'all's business, but no, I'm not fucking them, okay? So here's the thing, is that you don't get to play those games on me and then ask me questions as to why I don't respect you. I don't respect you because you're not giving me a reason to respect you. You should respect me, and I don't know why you don't respect us, okay? Because regardless of anything in this system, they too treats me and view me as a melanated woman, which I am, okay? And let me just say, being that I was able to experience what I've experienced, which I wouldn't wish that, well, would I wish that on my worst enemy? Do I even have a worst enemy? Because from what it seems like the black woman has enemies that shouldn't even be her enemies. Okay? She's hated not only by other females, period. I don't care which ethnicity you're speaking upon. She's hated by them, or they're envious of her or jealous of her. And I don't know if males have like a mental retardation disorder. However, I find that black women are the most attractive women on the face of this planet that I've ever seen. Like, with dark skin. And you're lying when you say, oh, and she's bald-headed. I've seen many, including the ones in my family, the ones I went to school with, and my peers and other women who have natural long ass hair and are dark and are beautiful, hardly even need makeup. So you're lying, okay? So when I am fetishized, or like, I get it a lot, or I got it a lot because now I just shut down. But it's like I got it a lot. Oh, which one of your parents is white? And what are you mixed with? Or blah blah blah. And then yesterday in the taxi, and he was a nice guy. I didn't see it as a bad thing. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in any male, really. And it's not that I don't find men attractive. They are. However, I have better things and bigger things and other things and more important things that are priority to me. I mean, it is what it is. But it's like, I just feel like I can't connect with any of you yet, okay? Or so far from what I've come across. No, like, yeah, I'm introverted, yeah, but I still get out. And nonetheless, there's a reason why I can't really go just prance around like that. It shouldn't matter how I'm dressed. It shouldn't matter any of that. But once again, males, I don't know whether you were conditioned or you're just born that way or what. Like, you don't care about what we think, and you don't care about what the inner. You don't care about none of that. It seems as if like a male's main objective is to not only dominate the woman, but to make her feel like whatever, and then to put the very savage on the pedestal, and then create this dialogue that is a lie. And the reason why I know it's a lie is because I've been around a lot of them. I come from them. Because I mean, do we really have to go here? I mean, because I've experienced the abuse and witnessed what goes on in these homes, if we can call it that, what goes on in these houses, okay? And you want to pretend that you're in a loving relationship, which you're not, and I know you're not, okay? And I don't care. I don't care what your excuse is that I know that I went through things and experienced things that I should not have, and I did not deserve that. And the reason why it was allowed was because the sperm donor did little to nothing to prevent that. And even when there were other options, there were clear options, to avoid that abuse, he chose to consent with his wife to keep me prisoner and to damage me just a little bit more. And that is why I find it nearly impossible to respect, because there's no remorse displayed by many of you. There's no acknowledgement by many of you, the denial and the continuance of abuse. And it's more in a covert way, but I'm aware of it. And I know that males and men are stronger than me. So unless I've got a pistol to shoot you, which I may or may not, however, the thing is that I shouldn't have to, and she should not have to. Black women, so-called black women, melanated women, the one who is the most beautiful woman on the face of this planet, anywhere, I don't care where you think you are. She's the most beautiful woman. The reason why is more than just her physical appearance. It's her mentality. But yet she's been dumbed down. And even when she is educated and her point of view is she has a sound mind, even if she has gotten that education, she's not projected into this world. And by that I mean she's not pressed, okay? She doesn't get the recognition or appearance she doesn't get any commentary. She doesn't get anything to really express. She has no outlet that really expresses her in her true beauty and her true nature. It's always like just this agenda and propaganda and advertising and word of mouth and constant betrayal of just about every so-called human or creature or whatever you are, whoever you are. Every time that you speak about us or speak about her, the true mother, you disrespect her in so many ways it should disgust you. And if you were able to reverse roles, let's say, for which I don't want to be a man. It is difficult as it is and as challenging as it is. I don't want to be a man, okay? And I definitely don't want to be a white woman, so-called white woman. I don't want, well, that's kind of like an oxymoron, okay? So I don't look like a white woman, but, okay, so I have her genetics, okay? Now, back on track. She isn't depicted and she isn't described correctly. Usually when she is being depicted or described or advertised or, displayed, whatever method, whatever outlet, the message normally is that she's stupid, that she's ugly, that she's worthless, that she's fat or obese, or that she's a hoe, or that she's this, that, gold digger. Many. You could go down, and it's predominantly derogatory, and it is insulting, and it is just, wow. It's a shame, basically. And the direct shaming and blaming, okay? and abusing and murdering, and nothing excuses anybody from doing that. Vice versa. She does not have an excuse to do that to you. However, let's just say this, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse how occasionally and a lot, maybe, frequently, how we are disrespectful to black males and black men. It's easy to cuss him out and call him a trash, no good, he's a hoe, a man hoe, he's stupid, he's retarded. I mean, those are easy to say just to blow off some steam. But in all reality and efforts of trying to speak with class, okay, there are many things that have been done to each other on an individual level and collectively amongst each other, okay, that is shameful, okay, and it is very detrimental to us, okay, and yeah, I apologize for that. I apologize for my inability to dispute or to argue my point or make a point or make my points without resorting to being degrading or to being childlike or immature, okay? Because it is easy. It is easier. It is easier. The reasons why, and this is not an excuse, the reasons why it's easier for us to stoop down to this lower level and to speak this way is because, for one, I think most of us don't have proper training or education or the proper just teaching. Okay, we don't have the proper teaching really that really has explained how to, navigate these conversations without, putting our emotions into it. Also, that's another part of it is that our emotions, we are women, okay? Just because just because we pretend like we're strong, and just because we suffer in silence, or just because we tolerate pain, doesn't mean that we don't feel pain, and doesn't mean that oh well, because this lie, this big lie about how, oh well, I guess we could just assume that black women are just strong and she doesn't need help, and she said she's independent. That's a lie. I've never said I was independent. Never. That's stupid. And like I said, anyone who says that is incorrect. Nobody is independent. You could try all you want, but you'll never be able to exist independently. There's always some type of influence and support or guidance, always. So that means just by default that you are not independent, nor am I. So nobody is exempt from that, and nobody is the biggest and the baddest. And just when you think that you are, there's always going to be something, someone, somewhere that can overcome you, okay, and overtake you and dominate you. And unfortunately, us women are not going to be the ones to dominate men. I mean, if we could dominate them, we would not need them. Okay? So back onto what I was saying. It's easier, but it's still shameful to degrade him. However, not to do the who did what first when. The fact of the matter is, along the line in his story, in her story, the story is basically this. Somewhere along the line, we were betrayed, nonetheless, betrayed. And I can basically draw conclusions based off downloads that they like what they like, and that's fine. But you don't need to sacrifice females, you don't need to sacrifice women, and you don't need to sacrifice the offspring, regardless if this is a darker melanated woman or a mixed breed. I don't care. It doesn't give you the excuse to sacrifice your female daughter's future, or to disrupt that. Had there been some type of actions taken, like actually fucking caring, or defending, or standing, having enough pride or dignity or confidence as a man to say, look, hey, you don't have to do that. I think that would have helped a whole lot better than what was done. Nothing but excuses. He wasn't the one who did this primarily. It was his sadistic Caucasian wife that he, I guess, just loves and adores. I don't care what kind of pussy you creatures have. I'm pretty sure it's got to be the same just across the board. We all have pussies. So I don't know what that excuse is. What excuse that would be? Okay, that the long hair or something. So straight hair, right? Okay, well then, when the melanated woman straightens her hair, then what is your excuse? Because you can't sit here and tell me, and I am not lesbian, but even if I was or was not, you can't sit here and tell me that black women are not attractive or that dark-skinned women are not attractive. That is the biggest lie. I just got done telling you. I am not the epitome of beauty, and neither is she. Okay? If there is anyone who has anything close to being, the highest ranking, it would be the darker skinned melanated woman. The reason being that she doesn't really get acne. She really don't. You can't really see the blemishes. Like, look at my face. Look at it. I have to wear makeup. No, I have to wear makeup. It's not that I'm ugly without it. It's that because based off of my sperm donor only wanting to be with something on the other frickin' side of the moon of the spectrum of him, he could have gotten with anyone, and I mean anyone. He could have had sex with an Asian woman. He could have had sex with a so-called Hispanic woman. He could have had sex with someone, some creature, some woman that looked a little bit closer to him, rather than I like this ideology of that being what's more attractive, which is insulting. That should insult you. That insults me. That insults me. Yes, it does. Because a lot of the issues that I have, psychologically, physically, whatever, is coming from that. Okay? And it doesn't make, at least I'm aware of it. I'm not saying it excuses me. No, it doesn't excuse me. A lot of us are born sociopaths, and we had to be trained into being empaths, which sucks because a lot of these folks don't deserve to be treated or to be, they don't deserve the reciprocation of empathy. Okay? So I think, this is my opinion, that we were basically just used as guinea pigs. We were never, ever made out of love. Okay, that's for one. For two, we were never allowed to blossom into what we could have been on either side of the spectrum. Now, what do I mean by that? Sociopath will not tolerate nobody's shit and will destroy whatever gets in his or her or its way. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum is an intellect. Okay? So I was very, 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 very wise and very intelligent younger. Why do I say that as if I'm stupid now? I'm not saying that I'm stupid now, but based off of just this conversation that is being recorded, just based off that, you can tell that my brain is jumping from subject to subject. It's not following, it's not staying persistent to one path of speaking what I need to speak. And the reason why that is going on now is because the psychological fracturing. So splitting, they call it splitting. You could say split personality, but it's not entirely a split personality. It's just fracturing. Depends on what atmosphere I'm in and who I'm surrounded by. That's why I'm an introvert. I don't like to be around a lot of people and creatures. Okay? So, splitting. How that first began was beating me, molesting me. That's how splitting started. Okay? And then how we tolerated pain. Yeah, we feel the pain, but we can separate ourselves from it to the point we don't cry. Because also you're born sociopath. So you do what you got to do to get through. And with that being said, is when you have a group, a mafia basically, when you have a mafia of organized criminals that are genetically bound, so these are supposed to be your relatives, but they're able to basically create split personality, split characteristics. Okay, so whatever they truly were trying to groom me for was what that I would have been used for, because you do know that we're all used. Us mixed breeds were always used, and half the time we don't even know when we're being used, and that's sick. But this would have never happened had he chose to be with a real beautiful woman who is not seeking to destroy him and use him and manipulate him, and basically just, whatever excuse. I don't care how nice the pussy is, nothing could excuse that. That's stupid. If I was a man, I would rather jack off than participate in such corruption and such disgusting filth. Okay, so split. They split your personality. And when you escape one mafia, you don't just, it's not over. You're left with the mental fracture. So when I would read, I would be in trouble for reading, So that had to be stopped. But like for school, see, the sperm donor would only beat me when I didn't do well in the system school. So he would be frustrated because I didn't get an A plus in math. Well, math was easy up until they started doing like fractions and stuff, because fractions could work if you're cooking or something, or if you're mixing. But when they're talking about things that don't matter, because we're trained, groomed slaves, right? So in order to do well in this system, and to be able to be an obedient slave, then it is, I guess, he made it his assignment to instill that he was not, they didn't see, first of all, they did not congratulate me on the things that I did do well, on the fact that I graduated early. I mean, school actually wasn't hard. That wasn't hard. But the real learning is not even in them damn schools, okay? And even if this is an Ivy League, they're not going to teach me the things that I really ought to know. They may teach me an abundance of things that are good, decent to know, or are useful and can be used productively. However, the things that I need to learn about often are not going to be taught any damn where by any of these institutions, period. End of discussion. So, had that been influenced, either whether I was going to be the sociopath murderer, which I refuse to do on the behalf of this trifling ass system, or I was going to be free. Free. Free meaning that I did not live, I wouldn't need to have money, because I would be wise enough and educated enough how to produce these things, whether or not I had the assistance of a man. That's all. And that is basically just about all I have to say right now, is that on the spectrum of things, the first one to have betrayed me was who? Who do we hold accountable? There's more than just one. It's not just the sperm donor, okay? And it's not just my home, my home. So no, I don't defend what many call white supremacy. I don't actually acknowledge it as such, because I refuse to speak. I refuse to use words that are supposed to be used in a highly respective context. First off, they're not white, okay? And secondly, they are not supreme. So I can't call it what it is not. I call it extreme terrorism, and you could even say covert, extreme to covert terrorism. Okay? But yeah, besides for that, yeah. What else? As I'm walking with all this stuff, heavy ass stuff, I'm asked if I want to buy some loud. See, my issue isn't so much that they were, trying to make their money. My issue is that you see me carrying this heavy ass shit and you don't have nothing in your hands. But it's more important that you make money than to sit here and watch me go through this. You have nothing in your hands. Don't call me little mama and don't call me shorty. Like, don't even call me anything. If you're not willing to assist me, like, fuck, I'll give you some money before you ever sell me anything. Okay? No, I'm not materialistic. No, I'm not. And I refuse to succumb to that. Why? Because most of the stuff that's produced, if and when I am educated and get the knowledge to do so, and then the resources to do so, and then the location to do so, and then the freedom to do so, and then the protection to do so, then I'll be able to create whatsoever I so wish and desire, with or without him. So then he can't control me and she can't control me, which should basically be just about every living creature's like desires and ultimate goal, is to not be controlled and to not be oppressed and to not go without. Even basic needs are tampered with. Your basic needs are exploited, and I find that unforgivable. Anytime that I have to live in a corrupt system that will go so far as to tax water is an insult to my intelligence, and that should insult you. Okay? So I don't have a problem with money in itself. I do have an issue with the photographs on it, with the things that are said on it, and it's like a big slap in the face as to why, strippers and stuff, and like it it insults me that people go crazy over it. Okay? Nonetheless, and it's almost meaningless. It's basically meaningless now, because had justice been the main instrument in this, maybe then money would have been, worthwhile. However, justice obviously is clearly lacking, and that, again, goes against everything that I reason with. No, it's not a matter of always being moral. However, when it comes down to knowing that we were miseducated, we were sabotaged, we were groomed, we were mistreated and abused, and so was he. Yes, of course. However, it comes down to a point when you do know better. Do you still choose to do that, or what do you do? Because what it comes down to for me is I hear, and I'm not even upset with the like women or men who choose to do that game. However, don't run that game on me when I'm fully aware of it. Okay, that's what's insulting. And then furthermore, instead of trying to advocate for its existence, why not be willing to make the proper sacrifices, which is done, and not just on his part, her part, our part also. Because it's not just us so-called humans or creatures or hybrids or mixed breeds that are at fault, or are the only ones who are contributing to making things change, because they're going to change regardless if we are in these shells, or what we like, or what we think, or how we feel. None of that is valid when it comes to change. Change happens regardless of how we feel, or what we know, what we think, what we believe. This system cannot exist. It cannot stay the way it wants to. It can't. It won't. So that's why I say what I say. is that no, I'm not proud of the his story and her story of me. On both sides, there is things that just are unforgivable. And moving forward, if that even makes sense, moving forward from here is that, of course, I don't really take it personal. I don't take it personal. I just I'm not leaving any room for excuses for unforgivable actions. Even I, too, have unforgivable actions. No one, and I mean no one is exempt from any guilt, because this whole entire thing now, or not even guilt, nobody is exempt from being accountable or being part of everyone's problem, our problem, the problem, the problem. We all had a part. However, there are some who, or many even, who willingly did, and then there's others of us who knew, and fucked up. We fucked up, okay, but nothing in comparison to what this one has on, okay? And it's not to make light of the situation. Regardless, it should insult enough of us, which it does, and it did, to do necessary things, regardless of how we felt, regardless of what we know, regardless of how we think, whatever, how we feel, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter when you're put in a position where you have no choice. And however, even if you don't have a choice, and we know it's what had to be done, and we knew that even though it's easier to just go with this, that we have to go against it. Because why? Because it's justice, and it's what needs to be done, it's what needs to be said. And yes, it's difficult. Yeah, sometimes you're alone. I don't feel lonely, but sometimes I feel alone, yes. And sometimes it is easier to just be vulnerable and to just give up and give in and just say, fuck it. Yeah, of course, that's easier. However, I know that even with the lack of knowledge, or with the lack of information and lack of support, and the where to, whatever it is, that things are going to be done whether I'm present or not. Because, we won't get into that, but things are going to get done whether I am here or not. Okay? And you're going to want to be very wise with what you choose, what we choose, and how we choose to interact with each other. Because ultimately, it's up to us whether we can exist, whether we can excel or not. It's not really truly up to this. It's up to us. And as long as we continue to be the main violators and the main criminals against each other, then they've succeeded single-handedly, because based off of our inability to get over, okay, and our inability to do what we ought to do, and to what are some of the things that would need to be sacrificed: vanity, materialism, greed. I mean, I'm just speaking at our level. I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about us. The things that would need to be done is reading, educating yourself, getting information from each other, getting educated by each other, sacrificing certain things. I mean, it's just the priority. It's not a matter of looking cute, and it's not a matter of getting as many women, whatever. I mean, you can still do whatever you're going to do. What I'm saying is that in order for us to get closer to that side of the spectrum, to that side of the spectrum, the one that you want to be on, is that we have to take responsibility for our own self. And no amount of paper is going to make you or I rich. You can't That's not how this really truly works. But if you want to live in that system, then you know where I stand with you and you know where we stand with you. And it's not a matter of, oh, well, fuck money, just burn it down. We're not even at that stage. The thing is that do you really want to continue? I mean, honestly, do you really want to continue with that? Do you really want to? Does it make sense to do that? Does it does it make any sense to you to live that way? Do you really believe that you're supposed to be do you truly believe that you're supposed to be paying for that? Do you truly believe that marriage is realistic in this system? Do you truly believe that being successful for us is realistic according to what we're going by? Do you truly believe that you're supposed to be paying for water? Based off how you respond to those questions that I'm asking you determines the likelihood of you achieving that or this, okay? And I'm not here recruiting, by the way. I'm not in charge of that. I'm just here to inspire you, nothing else.